Hi, I'm Al. I want to talk to you today about how much time you have to do trauma removal work. So, when we're doing the removal of trauma or any emotional learning, it doesn't have to just be trauma. It can be anything that has been learned that is getting in our way, that is stopping us from getting what we want and stopping our clients from getting what they want. But I want to talk about the times, like the time windows involved. So if you've seen any of my stuff before, you'll know that what the neuroscience says around how to trigger memory consolidation, which is the brain mechanism responsible, is that essentially what we need to do is like 3 stages. We need to activate whatever is keeping the problem alive. I'll talk about that in other videos, but essentially the nervous system prediction, if you like, the emotional learning that's keeping the problem alive. And then we create some sort of mismatch experience that gives the client the sense that, both can't be true, I suppose, a mismatch experience. I like to use that, very imaginal techniques because they're very experiential. But when we do these things and it lands, all that happens is that the brain pathway gets opened, it gets unlocked, if you like, and it becomes writable. It doesn't mean that you've made any changes. So at this stage, nothing happens in terms of any change that the client will experience. They've just had this kind of penny drop moment. But the third and crucial aspect is that you have to kind of repeat. You have to repeat this activation and mismatch experience. One of our lovely members refers to these almost like bumper cars. So you have to bump them together again and again. You have to do a repetition, because it's only when we repeat that the rewrite happens. So this makes the brain sit up and take notice. What I thought was always true, there's this alternative experience, which means that both can't be true. And that actually anatomically opens up and unlocks and makes the brain pathway containing that trauma response writable again. But nothing happens until the repeat. It's when it keeps repeating and bumping together that the brain actually overwrites and removes the old trauma response, the old emotional learning. Because like I say, it's not just limited to trauma, this. So the question comes up, you do have a time window between opening. So you've opened up the brain pathway there and it's writable. And actually doing the rewrite. And so people often ask me, what is this time window between opening it and successfully doing the rewrite? And the answer is a little bit of debate around it, but for our purposes, it stays open for 4 to 5 hours and then shuts again automatically. So as long as you do the repetition within this 4 to 5 hour window, then that's good. Now, the reason why I say that is because when you therapists and coaches, new to memory consolidation anyway, do this, there'll be kind of an activation, and they might well follow that by a mismatch experience. And then, because you know how it is, it's a dance, sessions are a dance. It might be that the client goes off on a bit of a tangent. And then what can happen is that the practitioner understandably can panic a little bit because they've just had this wonderful mismatch experience. The penny's landed. And now we're talking about something else. Well, don't worry, because here you're in a state where the brain pathway is still open, is still ready for a rewrite. And as long then as you return to that in order to repeat the activation and the mismatch, and like I say, it's within 4 to 5 hours. And so your session is not going to be 4 to 5 hours long. So as long as you just return to that within the session, then you're going to get the rewrite. So I'm just going to have a quick recap. When we do activate a mismatch, all that does is open and unlock the brain pathway, doesn't make any change. It's the repetition that creates the rewrite. And in between these two spaces here, there's a time window where it will stay open, and that is 4 to 5 hours. So if you only do the first one and then see them next week, it'll be shut by then. But if they go off on a tangent after having this kind of, I've just opened the brain pathway here, and they go off on a tangent, don't worry, stay nice and calm, because as long as you return to it within the same session, you're well within that 4 to 5 hour window. Now, if you want to find out more about how to master memory consolidation and all these wonderful nuances and be coached on a daily basis by me, then go to freshtherapists.com/coaching. And this is specifically only for therapists and coaches and other practitioners who are working to help other people, where you're dealing with some kind of emotional learning. It doesn't have to be trauma. And so you want to learn memory consolidation so that the results that you get really, really transform. So I hope that's useful to you. Drop me a line if you've got any questions, and I'll chat to you soon.